Back in 2019, I did a video about Streets of Rage Remake. As many of you know, that project has been going on for a long time and has received many updates since it started. Sega shut it down a decade ago, but work never really stopped. The love the community had for it endured, and it's stuck around as a fan favorite for the decades since. For those of you unfamiliar with the Streets of Rage remake, it began life as a project by Bomber Games. The series had been dormant for so long, they wanted to bring the fun and excitement of those original titles together in one package with a ton of customizations and options. Essentially, it would be a reimagined combination of all three stories, characters, and gameplay. It also added new stages and content to be much larger than the previous 16-bit outings. After it was shut down, Sega took its sweet time to begin the process of finding a developer for Streets of Rage 4, which finally saw the light of day in 2020. I enjoyed Streets of Rage 4 and found its combo-heavy gameplay fun and exciting. The art style was a bit off, but the retro filters went a long way to fixing that for me. Funnily enough, after my video was released, a new 5.2 version of Streets of Rage Remake landed with even more changes and additions to improve the product. So nice was this new version, I have to tip my hat to the developers involved. You guys may have actually bested the official product, and in this episode, we are going to talk a bit about what this version offers, how it plays, and if I recommend you give it a try. Let's waste no more time and get right to it, the 5.2 edition of Streets of Rage Remake. The changelog for 5.2 is massive, over 300 entries covering everything from new music, to new stages, to new moves, to graphical enhancements, to bug fixes, and to any number of other things that have been worked on and tweaked. Right from jump, you have to appreciate the addition of widescreen support. Remake always looked nice, but now it takes on a more modern presentation that really ups the game. The beautiful pixel art fills the entire screen now and looks just exceptional. There are also over a dozen new musical tracks added to 5.2 as well. A solid mix of old and new beats that stays true to the original game's atmosphere. If you've never heard the remixes done for this game, Google it and download them all. They are so good. They are perfect for commutes and chores outside of the game as well. New areas to fight in have been added. There are almost 100 different stages and scenes to play in Streets of Rage Remake. It absolutely dwarfs Streets of Rage 4 in size and content. The nice thing about these stages is that the new stuff isn't some out-of-the-way tacked-on nonsense that doesn't fit the story. It all actually coalesces into the main narrative perfectly and naturally, feeling like it should have been there to begin with. You also get a new opening animation and title screen, some changes to the options menu, and some tweaks to the UI. One of the nicer changes in 5.2 is the improved enemy and co-op partner AI. The computer now offers a more robust challenge, and your AI buddy is a bit less destructive to your game. I could walk through the previous update with little issue, but my first playthrough in 5.2 ended in a game over. If you have an older version of Remake or haven't played it in a while, this is definitely worth a look. Along with these changes, many of the previous bugs have been ironed out as well, making it the best update the project has ever seen. There's even in-game achievements now. I'd like to take a moment and really praise the visuals of Remake. The entire presentation offers you more than the Genesis was ever capable of alone. Nice touches like shadows, reflections, transparencies, more enemies on the screen, and just a general sense of 32-bit style touches really hammer home just how much we needed a Streets of Rage on the Saturn or Dreamcast. I also love how every nook and cranny has a touch of parallax scrolling added for effect. Even in places it didn't exist in the original art, it's here just because. The new look for some of the enemies and main characters looks great as well. Additional options allow you to customize this a bit by changing names and colors, but the end product is always faithful and always reminds you why you love these games so much in the first place. The previously mentioned widescreen support puts a finishing touch on the project that really knocks it out of the park. This could be released on the Switch or PlayStation 5 today, and I wouldn't complain a lick. It's that good. There were many that argued Streets of Rage 4 changed the look too much, that it wasn't as faithful to the originals as it should have been. I didn't personally mind the change, but seeing Remake here in action, you certainly have to give credit for holding on to the inspiration from the original art, because it certainly holds up quite well. Streets of Rage always did have a killer soundtrack. I mean, the first two are legendary, and while 3 is something of an acquired taste, it certainly was unique. Remix takes those classic tunes and remixes them into modern masterpieces, almost to the point where you have a hard time going back to the originals after you've heard it. There are dozens of tracks across the entire original trilogy that have been redone to absolute perfection. Even the crazy stuff from Part 3 is touched up and sounds better than it ever did before. Like the visuals, the team that developed this never lost sight of what made Streets of Rage so special, and with that recognition, was able to create something new that sounds like it always belonged. That is a powerful statement of respect for the original material, and their dedication to it. Let's have a listen to some of this stuff so you can see just how good it actually is. For those of you that need a bit more convincing, Remake also offers up a more robust gameplay experience beyond new stages and music. The gameplay here sees numerous tweaks and changes to really hammer home how the series evolved over the years. The star system makes a return, but it's easier to gain your moves much quicker here. Each character has a few new moves in their arsenal, and you have the customization to make it play exactly how you want. There is a store available in the options menu that allows you to buy extra content with the money you earn in the game. This unlocks cheats, playable characters, extra modes, and all sorts of additional tweaks to the gameplay. You can sink hours into these all by themselves. There is also a Streets of Rage Maker that allows you to build the game how you desire. There really is just tons of content and customization that never seems to get old. Streets of Rage 4 was a fun diversion, but this harkens back to a time when Sega reigned supreme, and looks like it was produced by that very company. Sometimes the best way forward is to respect the past, and Streets of Rage Remake blazes a path I honestly can't fault. It pays homage while improving, it adds content that looks like it belongs, and it doesn't try and fix what wasn't already broken. The end result is one of the most fitting and complete fan projects I have ever seen and played. The 5.2 update continues that project for a community still ravenous for more of a series that never should have been abandoned in the first place. I'm gonna drop a link in the description so you can play it for yourselves, or update that older one you may still be holding on to. Either way, play it. I guarantee you won't regret it. I'm Sega Lord X. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you next time.